It is essential for us to understand the full scope of destruction floods can cause, not just to our buildings and houses, but also to our electrical systems and water and sanitation infrastructure. The sheer force of floodwaters can reduce homes, businesses, and public structures to ruins, leading to not only the loss of shelter, but also long-lasting emotional and financial impacts, displacing individuals and leaving communities in distress. Flooding can also disrupt the delivery of electricity to our homes, hospitals, and other critical facilities, resulting in power outages that hamper daily routines and hinder emergency response efforts. Not only that, floods can overwhelm sewage systems, contaminating our water sources and posing health risks. The scarcity of clean water and compromised sanitation facilities can further compound these challenges, increasing the risk of waterborne diseases and having serious impacts on public health and hygiene. Given this devastating impact of flooding, it is important that our generation takes action. We must prioritize the development of resilient infrastructure, incorporating designs and materials that can withstand floods. Early warning systems and disaster preparedness plans should also be implemented to save lives and minimize property damage. Additionally, we should be aware of the potential for flooding in our communities and develop strategies to mitigate its impact. By taking a proactive approach, we can reduce the severity of destruction caused by flooding and protect our buildings, electrical systems, and water and sanitation infrastructure. The destruction of habitats due to flooding can have far-reaching consequences, not only for the species that inhabit them, but also for the whole ecosystem. For example, the disruption of food chains can cause an imbalance in the local environment, leading to the disruption of entire ecosystems. Additionally, when habitats are submerged, many species may be forced to migrate, resulting in the displacement of wildlife and a reduction in biodiversity. This can be especially detrimental for species that are already endangered, as it may make it difficult for them to find new habitats that provide the same level of protection and nourishment as their original home. Pollution of water sources is another issue that arises from flooding. When habitats are inundated, contaminants such as fertilizers, sewage, and hazardous materials can be washed away and end up in nearby water sources. This can lead to water contamination, which can have devastating effects on both human and animal populations. In addition, flooding can disrupt the natural hydrological cycle, leading to changes in water levels and the salinity of water sources, which can further affect the health of aquatic species. The disruption of ecosystems and food chains can also have an effect on vegetation and agricultural land. Flooding can cause the death of crops and the destruction of agricultural land, resulting in a decrease in food production and economic losses for local communities. In addition, the disruption of ecosystems and food chains can impact the growth of vegetation, leading to a decrease in the carbon absorption capacity of the environment. This can have a long-term effect on the climate and further exacerbate the effects of flooding. Overall, it is clear that flooding can have a serious impact on the environment, resulting in displacement of wildlife habitats, pollution of water sources, disruption of ecosystems and food chains, and the effects on vegetation and agricultural land. Therefore, it is essential that we take action to reduce the risk of flooding and invest in resilient infrastructure and disaster management strategies to protect our environment and ensure a safe and secure future for ourselves and future generations. In addition to the disruption of ecosystems and food chains, floods can also have a drastic impact on vegetation and agricultural land. Floods can wash away fertile topsoil, burying it beneath a layer of silt and sediment, making it difficult for plants to grow. Floodwaters can also carry toxic pollutants and contaminants, which can damage crops and vegetation, leading to reduced crop yields and a decline in agricultural production. Furthermore, the spread of disease-carrying pests and insects is a common consequence of flooding, which can further damage crops and vegetation. The effects of flooding on vegetation and agricultural land can have serious implications for food security. Floods can destroy crops, reduce crop yields, and disrupt the distribution of food supplies, leading to shortages. Further than that, the destruction of agricultural land can have long-term effects on food security, particularly in developing countries with limited resources and infrastructure. Ultimately, flooding can lead to an increased risk of malnutrition, poverty, and hunger.